Hey y'all, Beasley here, coming to you today from historic Fort Gibson, Oklahoma. It's a 57-mile trip via raft down the Arkansas River from Tulsa, or you can get from downtown Tulsa to right here at Fort Gibson about 45 minutes via the Muskogee Turnpike. At its founding almost 200 years ago, Fort Gibson was the westernmost reach of the United States. The year 1824, less than 50 years after the founding of the United States, and only 20 years after the Louisiana Purchase and the Lewis and Clark Expedition. When the fort was established, the migration of the Cherokee and the Creek to the assigned lands had already begun. The residents of the area, the Osage, were not happy with the United States for relocating the Creek from Georgia into Osage territory, and several skirmishes between rival hunting parties were reported. Colonel Matthew Arbuckle chose this site near the junction of the Arkansas, Neosho, and Verdigris rivers to post the U.S. 7th Infantry in an effort to quell this conflict. The fort's role changed significantly after Andrew Jackson signed the Indian Removal Act of 1830. Fort Gibson was the terminus of the horrific Trail of Tears. The post became the central location for the delivery of supplies to the tribes. Fort Gibson was the major trading post for Indian Territory. Many notable people were stationed at Fort Gibson in the early days, including 3 presidents. Future U.S. President Zachary Taylor was commander, Confederate President Jefferson Davis was adjutant general, and Sam Houston, president of the Republic of Texas, operated a trading post with his Cherokee wife, Tiana Rogers. These are the remains of the adjutant office and the resident of Jefferson Davis. Throughout the 1840s and 1850s, many significant military figures spent time here at Fort Gibson, including Jeb Stuart, Robert E. Lee, Braxton Bragg, and John Bell Hood. A hub of activity in the 1830s, Oklahoma's first tourist was American author Washington Irving, famed for works such as The Legend of Sleepy Hollow and Rip Van Winkle. Traveling with the U.S. Dragoons on their exploration of the territory, his subsequent book, A Tour on the Prairies, was the first detailed account of what is now eastern and central Oklahoma, including stops in what is now Tulsa and the McBurney Spring and the Owen Park neighborhood. Again, this fort was the end of the Trail of Tears. The Lochapoka Band of the Creek Nation arrived here in 1836. They then traveled 60 miles upriver along the Arkansas to found what is now known as the city of Tulsa. That settlement is recognized at the Council Oak Tree near 21st and Riverside. Early in the Civil War, Confederate soldiers occupied the fort. In 1863, the United States reclaimed the fort. Fort Gibson's about 30 miles from Chakotah, site of the Battle of Honey Springs. Union soldiers from Fort Gibson defeated 6,000 Confederate troops at the Battle of Honey Springs in July of 1863, the largest Civil War battle in the Indian Territory. This is not the original wooden stockade. After the fort was abandoned by the Army in 1890, the remains of the historic 1824 post were lost to river flooding and the scavenging of building material by new residents. The fort now standing on this side was built in 1936, a project of the Works Progress Administration. The reconstruction of the fort utilized the same plans, the same construction methods, and many of the same materials, making it a true replication of the fort built more than 100 years earlier. Today, the fort is managed by the Oklahoma Historical Society Each room is detailed to the period and offers a brief glimpse of life on the sandy banks of the Arkansas River in the 1820s and 30s. A town quickly developed nearby as natives and white settlers wanted to be close to the fort for security and for commerce, giving the town of Fort Gibson the claim of the oldest town in Oklahoma. This is the 1906 Bird Building. I love this canted entrance that you see in the front. Here it gives it a date of 1906. And once again, this is another Independent Order of Oddfellows building. This space was most recently used as a restaurant. There are approximately 3,500 square feet on each level. Upstairs is windows all day. And on the second floor, it's the former Independent Order of Oddfellows Hall. I hope that you enjoyed this brief introduction to historic Fort Gibson, the town of Fort Gibson, and a look inside another Independent Order of Oddfellows building. You've now reached the shameless self-promotion portion of the video, because I do have a Oklahoma real estate license. I specialize in older and historic properties, both residential and commercial. So when you see something you're interested in on one of my videos, make sure to reach out to me. I'm also qualified to help buyers with historic tax credits for proper restoration of these historic buildings. I can help you with facade easement or other historic protections. There are often economic incentive plans, a lot of different options when dealing with these historic properties, or if a property needs to be listed on the National Register of Historic Places. That's something I can help y'all out with as well. But in the meantime, thank you so much. I hope that you're enjoying this series of videos. Please subscribe using the button down below so that you are kept up to date when some of these historic properties come on the market in Northeast Oklahoma. But until next time,